Why did the market do what it did today? Well, as we can see on the daily, we are bullish, right? On the weekly, we are bearish. On the 4-hour, we are bullish. And that's all that really matters, but I guess on the 1 hour, we are bearish. All time frames were bullish at the start of today. I did not take a trade. But if we scale down to the 5-minute, we can see pre-market there were some manipulations right here in form of a liquidity, kind of a liquidity buildup is what I would classify that as well as a liquidity right here. With that being said, it pushed up. There was a fair value gap right here that helped push the market up further into London. We reached London highs around 350 and then it kind of consolidates. There is a manipulation pre-market, pre-London, goes down into a manipulation right here. After that, well, I should probably say that there is a imbalance right here that got turned into a fair value gap. So this helped push the market down even more. It's actually a double tap fair value gap. It continued to push it down. But with that being said, there are multiple manipulations here. So even though the daily bias is bullish, it turned into a bearish market. Now, some people might be wondering, why did that happen? And from my personal experience, which isn't that great, I'm pretty new to trading. But as we can see here on the daily, right now we are trying to get past these liquidities. And in doing so, right here, we just recently pushed up into this liquidity, right? Yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, I tried to take a trade here, and we pushed up into this liquidity area, but since it was in a liquidity area, the price wanted to push back down, and it stopped me out. I did not take that into account. But now that we've officially pushed past this liquidity, we are in a different liquidity zone, and that's what's happening right here. So I think that this is going to close bearish, but it's going to continue to push up probably into this liquidity zone right here. Because as we can see, it did tap into this zone as well, which also helped push it down even further, which we can see there was a 13.2 pip move in like half a second on the 1 minute, and that's right here. This completely pushed down, like, I think this is it. It's actually 15.8. It pushed 15.8 pips in half a second. So I did not want to trade today's market, but let's go back to the daily to analyze this a little bit more. So looking at the daily, as I mentioned, it was in zones of liquidity, but continuing the trend we're going in right now, we've kind of been consolidating a little bit, but I think it's going to actually try to push up past this. And the reason I say that is because we do have a inverse fair value gap right down here on the daily, as well as a liquidity buildup. It's not really a liquidity buildup, but it's constant liquidity that's being formed, making higher highs and higher lows. So overall, this is a bullish market anyway. Besides the obvious bullish, it is trending higher with liquidities trailing up this way. So I do predict that it's going to continue to go up. But I need to start taking into account when looking for trades these zones right here. Because I've never actually had to experience a market like this because I'm 2 months into trading. So that's what I think. Let's check out the weekly and see what the weekly's doing. Um, the weekly is a little bit different. Right here is a liquidity buildup that temporarily pushed the market up. If this closes above this high right here, well, technically, my bad, it'd be above here. In a day, in 3 hours, this will further validate my reason to make me think it wants to go up, because currently the weekly is bearish. So if it closes above this lower high, I feel like it's going to want to continue that trend, possibly into this zone right here. And if it closes into that zone right there, we might see a reversal, considering this right here is a bunch of consolidation, which leads me to believe this is a area that should be looked into for either further consolidation for order buildups for the market makers to push the market back down, or since right here is a weekly fair value gap, it could push back down into this weekly fair value gap, and then the market would want to push up from that, because there are some good areas here to target. But even going from right here to up into this liquidity is still 87 pips, right? So I feel like the market would much rather move 91 pips to collect more orders than just trying to move all the way down 387 to 510 pips. Because that takes a lot more power from the people to actually push the market down. But let's look at the 1 minute and see what happened on the 1 minute today. The 1 minute, as we said, it tried to continue the bullish market by pushing up here. You could have caught this trade right here, aiming for these levels of liquidity trailing up. Boom, 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 boom. Right? But here, I don't actually want to see on the daily if this is anything of significance. From what I can tell, not really. I mean, it did push up into this liquidity zone. Let's check out it on the 4 hour. 4 hour, not really. It passed these liquidities and then started to push down. Let's check it out on the 1 hour. There we go. The 1 hour gives us a better explanation. It tapped this liquidity and this liquidity right there, and then it started to reverse. So that makes me feel like it's just having a retracement on the weekly right now. No, on the daily to push the weekly up more to collect more orders to push down. Because this is a big drop right here. I mean, to get to the liquidity levels, you could... Oh, that's the wrong tool, my bad. To get to these liquidity levels, you would need to go 298 pips, 430 pips, 706 pips, 1,120 pips, or even 1,324 pips if the market makers are really trying to push down that far. But it could potentially go all the way down. Why do I keep doing that? It could potentially go all the way down to this liquidity right here, 2,000 pips down. So that is my analysis for today. If you guys like this content, make sure to drop down in the comments what you thought. Also, like and comment. But hope you guys are having a fantastic day. ZDT out.